They're talking to us because they've got a disaster on their hands. They're defeated. They can't make a comeback.
On February 28th, the world changed.
Around 20% of the world's oil supply passes through the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway between Iran and the horn-like tip of the Arabian Peninsula.
As the first missiles were exchanged between the US, Israel, and Iran, the global economy didn't just flinch, it constricted. This is the Strait of Hormuz. It is only 33 kilometers wide at its narrowest point.
Right now, it's effectively closed, with Iran deciding which ships can pass through, and the impacts are being felt worldwide. But why is it so dangerous to pass through the Strait of Hormuz?
You could drive across it in 20 minutes. Yet through this tiny needle's eye flows 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas. Since the conflict began, Iran has effectively turned the lights off.
Well, look at the geography. At its narrowest, it's about 21 miles across. And Iran's coastline is mountainous, good terrain from which to launch surprise attacks on ships passing nearby.
With a mix of mines, drones, and fast attack boats, they have choked the world's most vital energy artery. Today, we look at why this tiny strip of water is the ultimate doomsday button in the Iran war.
The main shipping corridors are closer to the coast of Oman, but Iranian drones and missiles could cover those distances in no time.
To understand the power Iran holds, you have to look at the map. Under UN rules, countries control the waters 12 nautical miles from their coast. At the strait's narrowest point, the shipping lanes lie entirely within Iranian and Omani waters.
They are begging to make a deal. We'll see if we can make the right deal. If they make the right deal, then the strait will open up. Hormuz Strait will open up.
There is no international water to hide in. Iran doesn't need a massive US-style navy to close the door. Their strategy is asymmetric. By using swarms of fast boats armed with anti-ship missiles and laying sophisticated mines, they've made the strait a graveyard for insurance policies.
No one really knows exactly what's out there, but there could be some tethered to the seabed and others capable of being remotely detonated.
Shipping traffic has plummeted by a staggering 95%. For the 3,000 ships that usually pass through here every month, the risk of a drone strike or a stray mine is now a mathematical certainty.
If these threats can be minimized, then some countries may be willing to start escorting vessels.
But this isn't just a Middle Eastern problem. It's a your living room problem. Take China. They buy nearly 90% of Iran's oil exports. When Hormuz closes, China's manufacturing engine stalls, and when China stalls, the price of everything from your smartphone to your sneakers goes up.
In and around the Strait of Hormuz is degraded as a result, and we will not stop pursuing these targets.
But Iran says it's not just military targets the US and Israel are striking. This was the port of Bushehr.
20% of global liquefied natural gas, mostly from Qatar, is trapped. LNG is what keeps Europe warm and Asia's power grids running. Without it, we aren't just looking at expensive gas, we're looking at energy poverty. Even more invisible is the fertilizer. 1/3 of the world's trade passes through here.
Donald Trump has given often wildly contradictory statements about how and when this war might end. Last night he claimed Iran had been blown off the map.
If the strait stays closed, the next crisis won't be at the gas pump. It will be at the grocery store. The US has been here before. In the 1980s, during the Tanker War, American warships escorted tankers in one of the largest naval operations since World War II. But 2026 is different. President Trump has called for a coalition of the willing to secure the strait, but the world is hesitant. While the US bombs missile sites along the coast, Iran remains defiant. Iran's message is clear. They will allow non-hostile vessels, mostly those linked to China or India, to pass, provided they coordinate with Tehran. It is a soft power play wrapped in a hard power blockade. Can the world bypass Hormuz? Technically, yes. Saudi Arabia has the East-West pipeline, and the UAE has routes to the port of Fujairah. But these are band-aids on a gunshot wound. Even at full capacity, these routes leave a deficit of 8 to 10 million barrels per day. There is no version of the modern world that functions normally without the Strait of Hormuz. As Brent crude hovers around $100 a barrel and peace talks remain stalled, the world watches a 33-kilometer gap of water. Because in the Iran war, whoever controls the strait controls the pulse of the planet.